Hey, John with Agile Off-Road, and we're going to talk about you got to flat. You got to flatten your Sprinter, you got to flatten your Grenadier, hell, you got to flatten whatever you got. You whip out the factory jack and you look at the factory instructions, and you're probably going to give up because it's not going to do the job. So over the years, we've sourced the Hummer H1 jack. So this is a Hummer H1 jack. They're designed for picking up military vehicles. They're pretty heavy duty, okay? Keep in mind, we've repurposed a jack from another application, but for the most part, this is a scissor jack. And what we've done is we've just come up with a simple little mount, and it's got a radius for a round axle on one side for a straight axle, or the rear axle of your Sprinter. And then on this mount side, it's flat. This gives you a place where you can mount in the front. But this guy here is gonna pop onto there. You can buy this as a complete kit on our website, or you can buy, if you've already sourced this product, because we don't make this product we make, and this allows you to kind of have this adapter, put it onto different things. So it works out really, really well. Another thing we did is we made this different hand crank, because what the H1s come with, you've kind of got this little erector set you got to put together, and this guy goes into here, and then we're going to go up and down off of this, right? So one of the key features of this, I don't know if you saw when I was turning this, it comes up pretty slow. So this has what's called a planetary gear in there, similar to like the low range on your four-wheel drive. It allows you to spin this and have more torque for lifting this up. So you can lift up something that's pretty heavy. Normally these are rated about 3.5 tons. Now we only want you lifting up 1/4 at a time. Do not lift up the complete rear axle, or do not lift up the complete front of your vehicle. As well, this is not a recovery jack. This is for changing out a flat tire pretty much where you got level ground. It does have a very impressive pad on the bottom. This pad gives you a big footprint. If you're in sand or gravel or something like that, it's gonna work, but you wanna have your rig securely with the emergency brake on. It cannot move. If this thing moves when it's on this jack, it's gonna fall over, just like it would with most any other jack. We did make another handle. So if you've got your own jack and let's say you've damaged a handle or it's missing or whatever, you can buy these on our website. It's a part number AOR2001. And this guy I really like. It gives you a little speed handle, and that guy just goes like this. Just jacks up really fast. And it's beefy. It's a little bit beefier than what the military guys are using, all this stuff. But so use good practice when you're using this. Pay attention, don't have anybody inside the vehicle. And let's take a look. I'm gonna jack up a Sprinter for you. We'll show you where you're gonna jack it up in the front and jack it up in the rear, and kind of give you the lowdown. Okay, so you got the Hummer H1 jack here. You can see that the Agile adapter's on there. This is an Ineos Grenadier. They weigh about 6,000 pounds. I'm gonna use the axle one on there. Slide it into position. What I found is the best way to do these is turn this by hand. So you're not sitting there cranking it with that big old long lever. I'm gonna put it as far as I can to the outside. And this has a ratcheting kind of lever, so there's a up and a down. And what I find to do is I just do this, spin it. You can see it's pretty easy for me to do it when it has that planetary gear in there. And I can almost tell this thing's coming up off the ground already. Yeah, oh yeah, we're off the ground. So that's it. And then to bring it down, we're gonna take this lever and flip it over. And now we can bring the jack down. Now if you wanted to, you can do this. But that's not really effective. And I'll tell you what, let me put on our little Agile crank that we make, and you'll see it can be a little bit easier for cranking up and down. back up. You can see how much more effective that is. Not quite as much leverage, but it's pretty damn good. Now this gold lever, this is separate hardware that we make. It's different than what the H1 jack comes with. So you have to order that piece separately. All right, all the way down. Ready to go back into the bag. All right, Hummer H1 jack. So when you put this in, you're gonna go in as far as you can to the outside. If you need to, you can go inside of the shock mount here. And we're gonna use the factory brackets or hand crank that comes with it. Turn these up by hand like this. Then I got good contact on there. And we're off the ground. And you can see it's a little bit more of a struggle with a hand crank jack. The further out you get it, the better it is. Although if you need to, if the tire's in the way, you're gonna be in here a little bit closer, or even if worst case, you're gonna be on this side of it. So this works extremely well. Let's go to the front, show you where we're gonna put it in the front, because we're gonna flip the adapter over. We're gonna use the flat, and we're gonna go off of the skid plate area. All right, so now we're at the front of the Sprinter. This one's a little bit trickier, but it works. So you're gonna take your adapter that, for the rear axle, it's like that. We're gonna use the flat up front. Put that on there. And we're gonna nestle this kind of right in here, just inside of the arm in the front. And you can have it find its home there. It's like a little bracket. We're gonna straddle that bracket. And what's gonna happen here is we really gotta crank this up a bit more, because now the suspension's gonna droop out in the front. All right, and we're off the ground in the front. So as you can see, it took a bit more in the front, a bit more cranking in there, and but it worked. Make sure you always come prepared with the right stuff and you know how to use it. I'd recommend you use it prior to going out. Always make sure you got the right hardware for your wheels and tires. Lug nuts can be different. So that's it. H1 does the job both front and rear. And again, factory jack, sucker's way up in there. I don't think you're getting this thing off the ground on the side of the road. So happy trails.